Greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Welcome back once again to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. Got a little adjustment now to the display and having some fun today. I did drop the link already for those who may wish to join the panel and share some conversations. Topic today I want to get into is finding mental balance. What that might mean, why that could be helpful, and maybe we'll find what others use or have learned along their ways to bring balance into their lives. And today, I think it's Saturday afternoon, I'm pretty sure, right? Saturday evening. I am feeling good. I choose love, and I am here for you. And once again, blessings are left. Thank you, Dominic. In all of us, even in good men, there is a lawless beast, wild beast nature which peers out in sleep. It's up to each of us to awaken and determine what is it that is awakening and what is it that is moving us, bringing us forward. And this one I really love. I might keep this one for later. Wise beings speak because they have something to say. Fools, because they have to say something. And isn't that the truth, man? And just Frank, love this one too. They are strategically placed so you can come across one every day. And I was thinking about this. My main demographic is single women over 50 with 4 or more cats. Golly geez, such a narrow category I got to fit myself into. Unbuttoned shirts may help that demographic, that's for sure. And yeah, today the thumbnail, the artist was inspired because I think there's a rock star that's coming forth, man. People just don't know it yet. I didn't think there was, but this is the Talcott Tour 2023 on YouTube. And I actually think it's just the start of something greater. At least that's my hope and my dream, my prayers. Today, oh yeah, from the quote Axl Rose, we're made up of two contrasting ideals, love and fear. Pick one and live. And did I not pull that up? I sure didn't. I was inspired with something else along those lines earlier. Oh, live a life you can love and love the life you can live. Can you do that for yourself? I mean, that's seriously the key. Live a life you can love and love the life you can live. So wherever you're at in your life, find a way to love the way you're living. It'll help you feel better. It feels better to love your life than it does to hate it. It feels a lot better to be grateful for your life rather than just to complain about it. I've lived both sides of that bridge, man. Join me. Come and join me in my experience where life truly is a blessing, where every day brings forth new opportunities and new chances for different things to become discovered. Like it's a real mystery, and life has become kind of a fun adventure for me. I sure hope I'm the good guy, and I sure hope the good guy wins in this story. Because it's been Frank, you're killing me, man. Hey, this one is amen. Very true. It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society, and I adjusted well to that sick society in my past. God, I wear all these uniforms and all this stupid stuff fitting into the world. And it was crazy. I can't believe this is the life, this is still the same life I used to live. It's crazy. Dude, I could use an image consultant, like maybe a reputation repairman too. You can use your feet with the mouse. What the fireplace isn't on because it's not very efficient and it's not real um it's not even real aesthetic unless it's really dark in the room. Um Blessings to all of you. Looking like a biker tonight. I'm dressed down. It's casual weekends. Damn it. I forgot to go to the dry cleaner. um yes, it's casual weekend for me. These rules we all imagine for ourselves. The different paradigms we create. Oh, Lindsay, you had some thoughts to share with me. I don't remember. I don't think if it wasn't yesterday or the day before. I don't remember if we got to what you were remembering or considering. If the time hasn't passed, I mean, if you're up for it and you're available, anyone who wants to join is welcome. If a panel doesn't emerge, um, I'll try and stay. I'll try to bring back to the topic, finding mental balance. I was watching some Shunya Murti earlier again today, and I don't remember what his talk was, but the notes I made was that a reasoned mind brings forth peace. And as I'm saying this thoughts, the reverse is also true. A peaceful mind brings forth reasoning. When we're not, it's easier to reason and evaluate situations and facts. It's easier to reason those with objectivity when we're not rushing and jumping to conclusions and, you know, pressed with this urgency of emotion. So a reasoned mind brings forth peace. And that is how I found my peace as well, was learning the tricks for myself, the logic and reasoning to get myself out of a, whatever feeling, the ones that aren't happy and joyful and peaceful. Reasoning can bring forth the peace, but you need a peaceful mind to reason properly. And so one of the things I was considering too is that's the idea of interrogating the thoughts that come through your mind, to develop the practice of peace. This is what Shunyamurti went into. One of the yogis, one of the Buddhas he was referring to, actually gave a very interesting explanation of why he did not teach meditation. and I kind of got the concept, but what I figured for myself is the idea of meditation is to bring the mind into a state of peace, to bring it into oneness with the heart, with the beingness, and beyond. And I've been practicing within myself throughout the day, at each moment, keeping my mind clean and pure of thoughts without conflicts, and without, really watching so I don't get caught up in the negativity. I had that happen to me earlier today. I was watching a video and somehow got in my mind about some past unresolved things, unresolved relationships, and unresolved conversations, I'll say. And I started getting that feeling of, a little pissed off at the situation. And It's real easy to get frustrated at the things we know. It's real easy to get frustrated and angry at the things that others are doing, have done. It's real easy to get frustrated, but I've been learning it's also easy to get not frustrated too. Takes a little more practice because by the time you're frustrated, you're already wound up and things are closing in, the mind closes. But if you can remind yourself to bring yourself to balance, it's okay. It's okay to let it go. It's okay to not have the answers. I mean, logically, using logic and reasoning. I mean, if I'm sitting here distracting myself from an opportunity to learn, which it was, I was watching a lecture on YouTube. So I had distracted myself from the opportunity to learn based on thoughts that had nothing relevant to right here and now. So using logic and reasoning, I reminded myself, Jack, chill out, take a breath, calm down. Along those lines, as I'm talking, I'm listening to my rhythm of speech. And brothers and sisters, God bless you. I love you. When I listen to the videos, I swear I cannot do it at less than 2 speed. I speak so slowly, and I don't remember being this way, but maybe I was. Maybe I always have been. I don't know. I'd have to talk to someone from the past, but they don't like to talk to me anymore. Oh, praise God. This life, man, this life we are living is so amazing, so bizarre. Right before I started the stream, I was listening to our friend London Man over on his alternate channel, the Rebuttal Bar. And he was talking to another guy, I think the Sanity Machine. I've heard that name before, but anyway, what this guy was talking about is the soul trap, how we are trapped in this manufactured hell perhaps, and we're prisoners in the biology of life. I disagree. I mean, I can accept it, but I don't like that perspective. I prefer to see that this is all a gift of brilliant design, uh, received by us, offered by the creator of the entire universe, that which designs the structures that allow light and sound to move. And then not only that, but the biology of us so that we can perceive the light and hear the sound and taste the flavors, smell life. That's an amazing gift. And in the past, in this life, especially when I had my drinking addiction, my limited thoughts, back in those days, I did view this life as hell. I really did. I wasted a lot of my life living in these feelings of righteous anger, righteous judgment, and then a lot of fears and insecurities that, I don't know, maybe they were passed down. I don't know. I picked them up. I picked up a lot of fears and insecurities along my way in the past. And then I learned how to start setting them down. And it was through the topic. Through the topic. I chose, well, I didn't really have a choice. The choice is either go insane or find mental balance. Little did I know that as I was going insane, as I thought I was going insane, I was actually gaining my sanity. I was gaining clarity on who I was as a man. And I'm not a man who's anything special, but we are each so special. We are. Every single life that is here has a quality and an essence to it that can be honored, that can be respected. In my mind, as I'm saying my words, I try to be very cautious. Actually, I don't try. I practice awareness of my speech, particularly. I want to be truthful, especially when I'm speaking publicly. God knows, who knows who might hear my words. So I try to speak truthfully and accurately with things that I know. And as I'm speaking, it's not a prepared speech. I'm paying attention in the back of my mind. Am I being truthful? Right? Trying to find reasons that my words might not be true, so that if I find a reason my words are not true, may not be true, then I can offer it right away. The reason I brought that up, as I was trying to express my perspective that every single one of us, every single human being is special and to be honored. There's a lot of faces that came up in my memories saying, no, those people aren't worthy. Netanyahu, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Putin, the Koch brother, Soros, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. And then you go to the other side of it, the murderers, the rapists, criminals. Mankind has generated a lot of beasts throughout time, including now. And, I know the life I used to live, going to day, my job, earning my living, you know, worried about my livelihood. I was playing a role in a great big machine, a corporate corrupt scandal. It's a criminal empire, brothers and sisters. We are a part of a criminal empire that has arisen here on Earth. And it's not just in America, it's a global connection. It may not even be conscious. I trust that it is. But there's a criminal enterprise that has clearly been constructed that there's many, many people playing along with. They may not even know what they're doing. These people in government, these different administrative offices, these different labs and research projects, different military contractors, all these people playing all these different roles here on Earth as part of this big crazy system that's profiting from murdering other human beings and imprisoning other human beings. This could be a playground for the children of God. And yet we've got a lot of people who think they are rulers and think they're free while hell is all around. What an amazing game this fucking life our God has created. This is amazing. I mean, the idea that people are suffering, I don't take that lightly. But the fact that we could be part of something at this time on Earth, a part of a major shift for the future of humanity, that's what I feel like I'm a part of. You guys here who tuning in now and later, Are you part of this? Are you part of this crazy dream, this crazy idea that a new world is birthing forth? It's bursting forth. It is emerging. It's coming forth. The future is through me, through you, through everyone who we know, and the people we don't know. When you look at life in different ways, your perspectives can truly change. I used to feel so, I don't know. I don't know what I used to feel. I know I didn't feel like I do today because I feel good today, every day. It's like I wake up feeling good. I go to bed feeling good. Here, knock on wood. I mean, praise for health. I gratitude though. That's why I feel good. I've bragged about this. I'm proud of my practice of gratitude. Here, Lindsay's sister, you have it. You are it. If you can believe it, you are that light, that shine, that excitement for life from wherever you are. There might be a few obstacles, there might be a few, barriers standing in the way from the beautiful future that, maybe you can't even see it yet. We've all got these different perspectives of the past, of the present, and the future. But I tell you what, if you can find within yourself the practice of mental balance, what does that mean? What does it mean to be balanced? Well, balanced with your logic and your and desire, I guess. Logic with your spirit and your structure. Balance with your masculine energies, your feminine energies. And if you haven't given thought to those things, whether you're a man or woman, please do. I mean, there's a lot of different people, a lot of people have presented different perspectives on what could be considered divine qualities of the masculine, of the feminine aspects or energies. And if we can find within ourselves, each and every one of us, some balance between our minds and our hearts, between the past and the future. Can you find balance between the past and the future? Can you find completion here in the moment, in the present, accepting the present as the gift that just keeps giving until it doesn't? Oh man, praise God. It feels good to not know sometimes, and other times it'll drive you nuts if you don't know. My sister, welcome, my friend.
I'm not used to being called sister. Hello, I just thought I would join mainly because no one else is here. Not because I want to give you a hard time, but just to keep you some company.
Bless you.
I the things you say, I have my comments here and there, but I don't know if you want to, keep going or do you want to stop along the way and be interrupted and have people throw in comments.
I welcome the fellowship and conversations and interruptions. I appreciate what you bring. Your mic was real soft. I tried turning you up a bit, but
My voice isn't that loud.
well, that too. Maybe that's it as well.
I could turn up my mic. Let's see. Testing. 1, 2.
I got you way up, but then we've got some background. You know what? We'll deal with it. You're welcome, and you are sounding great.
Okay, then what am I saying? Can you hear me?
Beautifully.
Okay.
Hear you beautifully. um, I agree with this comment. From what the little I've seen, you would be wonderful in debate. Um, you have a very gifted way, or maybe it's been a developed way of confronting and presenting things.
Well, someone told me I was confrontational once, and my immediate response is, "No, I'm not." And I'm like, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let me give you some feedback on the things that you were talking about,
Please,
just
please
to make
do.
it more conversational. I was liking and agreeing with what you were saying about it's the way you choose to view life, your perspective that makes a big difference. Really, it's like a cognitive behavioral thing. The way that you think affects your behaviors, and it goes round and round, and they enhance each other. So if you see things negatively, you're going to do negative things like drink or whatever it is, to try to see the world in a brighter light. But it has the opposite effect. Um, Likewise, doing something positive and healthy makes you feel better, and you have more positive thoughts, and they feed off one another. In light of this, what I was going to bring up is in your last episode that you were already on for a long time, so we said next time.
Right.
So, in light of this theory, where you said I let go of some things and I hold on to some things, meaning you found yourself not being able to enjoy a YouTube video because you were thinking about past relationships. I
Correct.
remember, this is a little tangential, but I remember I was just going to the store and I was really, really mad. And it was about something, a relationship or something like that, or something someone said. And I was getting really mad and worked up, like you were saying, and I was so focused on it. And then by the time I got out of the car, I I realized I had forgotten what I was mad about. And I was thinking, something's wrong. Something's wrong. And what was wrong was that I wasn't angry. And so it's strange to say, it, I, it's just strange to say that you shouldn't or should be angry, but it's also strange to think that it has a purpose, and keeping you mad and keeping you where you are and keeping yourself a victim also has a purpose. And it's funny that if you forget to do that, you all of a sudden feel lighter and better. And how simple, how stupid is that? Okay, and then the other part I wanted to touch on, sort of along the lines of that random thought, where I was forgetting to be angry because I forgot what I was going to be angry about. Instead, I was focused on grocery shopping. Um, you said something about why borrow these troubles, and I touched on this a little bit on Cynthia's panel. Why borrow these troubles? You were saying to yourself when you were watching the YouTube video, and you were thinking about relationships, and you couldn't enjoy the video, and it was getting in the way of your morning too. It's getting you in a bad mood or whatever. This is the part that I don't understand about Christians and Christian philosophy, is that if you can't prove a double, why do you imagine this evil entity? Because you can't prove him. You can't say he's there. He's not the guy on the can of food that with a pitchfork. You don't really know what kind of entity he is or isn't. In fact, we, in an anthropomorphic way, we gave him a he. We assigned a sex to him and gave him human-like qualities, et cetera, et cetera. Why do people invent this devil in their head that they don't need, that is going to antagonize them and make them feel bad about everything they do that is completely normal? Oh, you had an extra bite of this, you're a glutton. Oh, you got pissed off at your parents, or you told your mom off one day. So, oh, that's another sin. Don't, you got to treat your parents respectfully, da 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 da. Not to name all of the millions of things that we do on a daily basis, or even weekly, yearly, monthly, because we're very fallible, right? So we're talking about acceptance and forgiveness there. Now I'm going to stop rambling and leave it at that and say, how are we supposed to accept and forgive and accept that we're fallible human beings if we've got this devil-like figure over here judging everything? Maybe the devil is ourselves. I don't know, but why borrow that trouble? That trouble of the devil.
I love how you said that. Why borrow the trouble from the devil? And I have a theory on what you're saying. I really do. I agree with what you're saying too. Imagining a blame, the cause of the devil.
Mm-hmm.
When we find a blame, it gives us an excuse not to accept responsibility.
Yes.
And there's been a lot of deceptions. Here, we do have someone else popped in the back here. This is going to go 50-50. Welcome, Brother Illumitami.
Hold on, Jack. I've got a hot plate issue, but I'm here.
All right.
Hot plate.
Hey, you're welcome here, brother. Take care of what you need to.
I'm back. I'm back.
All right.
We're doing cheese sticks, and they were going off. Hold on. Let me turn my TV down.
Please and thank you.
That reminds me when I was little, real quick. I was 5, and I remember saying, I would get in trouble with something, and I'd say, the devil made me do it. And I was free of all blame. It worked. It doesn't work now.
That's the devil just and we don't borrow. He's like $0 no cost offering up.
He's giving them trouble for free.
Yeah. He divvies it out socialist style. But your free will is what he's trying to manipulate. He didn't make you do a thing. He even has to ask God for permission to do some things.
Wait a minute. We're presuming in the first place that he exists. Until you prove to me definitively that he exists, I can't understand any reasoning beyond that, and you can't do that. Just like
you can't have your hand. I mean, I can show you things, but that's why there's no proof of God, because if we could do that, there'd be no faith required.
Then if you can't do that, why prove a devil that you don't know?
Because he tells us there's one.
The book says, but here, let me offer this. I don't deny that there's entities beyond us, possibly even the image and concept of the devil. I have the theory, though, that when future humanity will look back and see that the Antichrist is the beast within us, the devilish nature that all of us possess, as with the Christic nature, the pure nature that we all possess. I think the devil is us. Well,
I'm not this beautiful angel of the Lord's creation, so I can't say I'm the devil in any means, and I would be a lot worse if I was. But
that wouldn't be the first contradiction that was in the Bible. But I'm not here to debate the Bible.
Right.
I'm here to say, hey, you know what? If you have a choice on your outlook and how you perceive things, why borrow this devil? Why talk to yourself as if you are the devil?
Logically, that's a good question.
You can't have, I mean, as the science guy of the community, I also say you're never going to logically be a God faith. That's my challenge, is to be educated collegiately in science and have to abandon all that to maintain my faith.
You're in the right place.
I don't think science is not. Science doesn't mean it's not synonymous with faith. Those two aren't.
It can only, I mean, even though I said you'll never prove God, as the requirement of his faith means no proof, science can only get closer and closer to proof, or be the study of the God creation. The whole thing with science being against God, that's part of the leftist divisionary thing that's developed over these centuries.
Yeah, kind of a misnomer or a fallacy.
Thank you.
It's like,
because really science kind of started in the seeking of God and then slowly grew to the disapproval type context. But Jack, I've just wanted to jump in. I'm gonna do a thing at 5 if this auditor shows up. If you want to, I don't care if you restream it, if you're like looking for something to use. But I just want to drop in and say this Sunday's LARP church, I'm just going to do a quick part on addiction, and then it will be primarily chat and panel because I need inspiration for more LARP church stuff. But questions like Lindsay has that I might push back on Jack's answers, that's what this Sunday is going to be all about. And Jack, you should show up too, brother.
Respect. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we're all about that cross promotion around here, and we don't have to manipulate each other's channel names and stuff.
I agree.
I don't know if anybody saw it. I just did one of those appearances on Paul this morning where everybody's like, is Tom on Xanax? Why is he being all civil and calm? And he sure enough would eventually like downgrade it until even I was tired of it. So yeah, man, community, guys.
Hey,
I don't always support Jack. I support Jack having a channel.
Thank you. Let me pop in here, not to distract. Random fan. All right. Thanks. Thank you, Tommy. Respect, brother. Random fan. I sent you a letter. You left me a P.O. box, and I sent a letter. It got returned to sender. So, I don't know. Love to talk again at some point. Anyway. Okay, so Tom came up with LARP Church, and your question was the why? What is the benefit of imagining a devil
Or bringing him to life? I can understand. Yeah, I can understand perfectly why people would have faith in a God, both scientifically and otherwise. And I believe in a God myself. I'm a skeptic, but I do believe, even though it's not logical. And I'm a fan of science, but I don't have such a science brain that I'm not willing to accept that there are things that exist in planes that cannot be understood by myself or by a magnifying glass or whatever. So yeah, that's my question to you. Why borrow this thing that you can't prove that's negative? I understand borrowing this thing that you can't prove that's positive, which is, say, God, for example, or a positive attitude or a belief in such and such.
That's a great question. To be honest, though, my path required me to accept both. And I'm not sure how best to explain it, but I know most of my adulthood, I was in denial about what the world was actually doing. The past few years, well, when my life shifted, so I had more time on my hands, and it allowed me to look beyond just my little life and to reflect on my past life more. In looking at history, I saw some true evil. Just, mankind is fucking sick.
And
they are.
I agree. It's just that I handle things with humor.
Well, yes, thank you. And that's where I found myself eventually. Today I laugh a lot because there is a lot of misery, a lot of suffering that is real. And as I've heard, there's plenty of evidence that makes me accept the probability that some of the people in high places have been worshiping beings such as the devil. So if people are really worshiping the devil and the light and God, I thought, maybe I should take it a little more seriously myself. And I found myself loving the God, recognizing that all evil, all good and bad comes from the one. It's all offered and allowed through life for us to learn about, to experience, to participate in. And so there's one creator, one Godhead, one supreme source. I have fallen in love with it. I trust it. I have faith that it is moving us all of us alive today. Whether we realize it or not, we are moving forward in time, through time. I believe to something pretty amazing. I really do. And I pray it's true. I really do. I pray it's true. That the world we used to know, the world that our ancestors knew. I mean, we've grown in our worldwide logistics and communication, the technology of today. We have advanced, humanity has advanced itself through so many different innovations, discoveries, different creations. I mean, hell, the technology and stuff we've got available today, it'll be primitive in about 15 years, 20 years. Well, unless the sun kicks up and we experience this shift in solar energy flash, we lose the power grids. We could be back to the
I'm back.
what's
Like
that?
we're talking about this stuff and thinking about this stuff that is so horrible that it's like a hell. That it's not a metaphorical concept, it's literal and it's here on earth. And then we giggle. And then it kind of, it's like it's too much to take in and to, it's not too much to be serious about, but it's there's this guy distracting me being kind of negative in the chat, so I'm just gonna ignore you. So negative, man. I'm just shooting the breeze. We're having it. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm just here to have conversation, kind of wax philosophical with you. So I don't know why people are getting so offended and controversial or whatever. But what I was thinking of is it reminds me of, I immediately thought of this show I was watching, how they talk about how people soften things, and one way is through humor. And then I started really noticing it. And they gave an example of how people soften things. And one way was when men hug each other, it's got to be this no homo thing. So instead of, like, if you hug a woman, you can give her a bear hug or pull her close. But when you hug your male friends, you got to kind of pat them on the back first and then push them away. That kind of thing, you soften it. Mm-hmm. And I noticed, you're probably going to hate me for this, but I noticed how often we're talking to people and we talk about something really, really serious and probably painful in the past. And then we go, I just did it. But it is a really good coping mechanism. It does help. And it doesn't mean that you don't take something seriously.
Amen. I actually see our laughter as a sign of health.
Yeah. You know what? I see our anger that way too. And we keep trying to push our anger away.
All right. I have been trying. I've been not trying to push my anger away. I've been trying to overcome my anger. Anger has been I'm sure the others from my past, they'll say that is the reason. My anger destroyed my life.
But it can also incite you or be an incentive for you to improve it, which it did. So you see the usefulness and the duality that you were talking about the other day? Like necessary evil?
Lindsay, that's what I've learned to love, is the adventure and the challenge of life. The fact that these feelings of anger, the fear, the despair, all of those feelings, they have meanings for us. But I've been learning to, I choose which feelings I spend more time with.
Yeah, because you were talking about balance, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Yes. And actually, even earlier, what I was describing, I brought that up to show that, things happen, and even while we're doing just whatever, stupid thoughts can creep in. My moments, and that's what they are these days. They're just moments when I start feeling that. I pay a lot of attention to me because I truly believe in the principles of manifestation, of spirit and mind, the prayer and intention. Those things have power, and
I
every
believe
moment.
they do.
What's that?
I believe they do too. It's something else that I mean, my mind's going all over the place because you touched on a lot of things and they're related to one another in one way or the other. And I'm having trouble remembering what I was thinking of, but it keeps leading to something else and something else. So you were just talking about
A lot of things.
feelings, right? Right.
Yeah, feelings.
Feelings and the value of them, but not spending too much time, and then balance. And then I was trying to think of
Yeah.
where was I going to go from there?
And I choose which ones I spend more time with. But then you brought it back to balance. You had a thought related to balance and feelings, I think, maybe.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm thinking so hard that I can't remember anything.
If it resurfaces, if it resurfaces, interrupt or bring it up.
What
Okay.
about an example of the laughter thing too? But
Oh,
I feel like I cut you off when you were just talking about something, and then something that I think of jumps up, and then I can't, and then I made you forget, and then you make me forget, and we play this game. Oh, I remember. Well, somewhat related, somewhat a little bit related. I say usually there's something funny about everything. You just need a little time because sometimes it's not funny at the moment. And it does help you cope. And I remember specifically, I was faced with a time in my life that I was either going to get this operation or I was going to die. There's just no doubt about it. Doctor said, you're going to die. You get choice A or B. And I'm outside a couple days later. My brother and my mom come over because they're feeling bad. You know, they don't, of course, want me to die, and I don't want to die. But they're coming with me to go to a doctor's appointment for support, which is very nice. We're passing by Walmart, of all places. And the thing that I really remember in my mind that's a really keen, straight memory, very clear, is that I said, we're driving by Walmart and I'm going to die. And then we all started laughing. It wasn't funny, but it was funny. Here I am in front of this classic tragic joint called Walmart, where everybody gets arrested and messed with and finds deals, and it's typical American whatever. And I'm talking about this very serious thing, and there's something funny about it, and it amazed me. And I kind of view you the same way with your struggle with alcohol and relationships, and I know that you're distanced from some of your family. And the fact that we can laugh about that stuff now or find something funny about it is, I mean, I maybe God has a sense of humor.
I trust in that. I would bet money on that. I'd gamble on that God has an incredible sense of humor. I convinced myself of that because there's humor in nature. I mean, the animals, they bring forth play. Humans, man, when they're not fighting, humans are such playful, fun creatures.
Yep.
So I trust God has an amazing sense of humor. And this is what convinced me too. Just considering the duality of life, light and dark, good and evil, love and fear. I trust and believe that God, the source of all creation, could could be known as love, undefinable, powerful. I mean, just unknowable, yet yet
You laugh.
yeah.
Everything is funny because it's
I
so, the things that we're talking about are so poignant and so meaningful and so deep to each person that we giggle.
Me too. Well, and my mind went off on a tangent. The God of love creates us humans, as these divine, amazing creatures with the sense of sight, hearing, taste. We got the opposable thumbs, the ability to imagine and remember. And the God of love allows us to live in fear.
Yeah, that's the exact reality. When you said that, it was like 3 days ago or something. You said everything has a duality, and I was agreeing to the most part. But to think of it in a term that it's exactly opposite. So for every good, there's a bad, or for every bad, there's a good. I could think of a few examples that didn't really pertain to, but overall, I'm starting to see duality in everything. And then if there's calmness, we'll fuck it up. Oh, excuse me. We'll mess it up. We'll mess it up.
This is what Flo brings up. It's kind of in the human nature. There is a devilish spirit to us.
Yes.
We want we want surprises. We want consistency and safety. And
we were built for sin, and we were built for love. There's another duality. And who doesn't love both?
You know?
What a joke. That's a sense of humor then. I guess.
Well, and there's a lot of ideas that God has a sense of humor in our creation. The spirit of us to serve others and to be, divine and pure, that does totally defy what the body wants. The body wants to pig out. It wants to be lustful and be lazy and,
It's like, but it's part of you. It's how can you detach yourself from it?
Yeah, and there is a time and a place for all things.
Well, that would be like, I don't understand, because that would be like saying there's a time and a place for one of the sins, gluttony, for example.
All right. I suppose.
No, you don't have to take that back. It's like, it's just, oh, you ruined me with the duality. I believe there is a time and a place. What I'm thinking about with sins, and I have a major problem with this, is, and I'm talking kind of about the things that I have issues with about the Christian religion. Most of it I don't. And with the sins, the problem I have is that we were created for sin, and we were created for love, and we were created for good, and we were created for bad. So life is like getting back on a horse after you mess up and then falling off, getting back up and falling off. And there is no fluid emotion in any of this. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to be angry, sad, happy, elated. It's going to be all over the place. And I forgot what point I was going to make about this, but I think I just think we don't have any duty to be perfect. And I think accepting ourselves as imperfect, learning from things, giving in to some of these things that we want to do is not, to me, is not a sin. That's not a sin. That's living.
Here's what I'd offer from what you said. What I understood from what you said, at least. The idea of sin, it's been taken a lot of perceptions and a lot of definitions and a lot of images. For myself, what I started trying to do is I tried to simplify things to gain clarity for myself. What would it mean for me to sin? What does that mean for me?
Mm-hmm.
I know what the books say and I know all that, but
I thought you went strictly by the Bible. No,
not the Bible's actually the last place I've gone to in my growth of faith.
Yeah.
I found God before I found the Bible.
So how are you seeing sin then? I interrupted you again.
Well, I've heard the definition as missing the mark. Okay. And the mark would be perfection. But we are human, made like you said, to grow, to get up, fall down, get up again. And as we reach new levels, we find new devils. I've heard that sign. But I believe to sin is to miss the mark. And the mark for each of us is to be present in the moment. And as we're present in the moment, we're to use our reasoning and make the right choices, right, quote unquote. We're to do the best we can with what we've got at every moment of our life. What I think happens based on some of the descriptions I've heard, like there was that book, Outwitting the Devil, I talked about a while ago. In that book, the devil is telling his tricks and and tools he uses, but he talks about how humans will drift. What we'll do is we'll get into these patterns of life. We'll make these choices at one time, then we'll start drifting away and not be paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we make mistakes, rather than be honest and accept responsibility, we'll make excuses, we'll imagine blame, and we'll push ourselves away from that which is true and that which is loving. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense.
Okay, thank you.
Especially since we don't innately know what our purpose is. We have to kind of guess. And I've read a lot of near-death experiences. I don't know if you're familiar with those or with anybody who's had one. And when I was researching this, because I was thinking, okay, if I'm going to die, I want to really research if people say this heaven exists or not, or in what facet, or what am I facing here? So I read hundreds and hundreds of near-death experiences. There's this website that catalogs them all. It's nde.com or something like that. And it's records kept by a doctor. And he started having experiences with patients who would talk about how they had a near-death experience, and they record them. And he said there were so many from all over the country, even countries that are mainly composed of atheists, like China or agnostics or whatever. He said there were many common themes, and he was just going to record them down. And so I've been reading different peoples from different countries for a very long time. YouTube, sorry, I'm distracted again. Anyway, what I found was very, very heartening, and I found the majority of the stories were about people meeting up with relatives and being in beautiful scenery and being where they want to be, and their ideas of heaven concocted in their minds, and that you don't have to think about the negative things, and that everything is love from in a transcendental aspect in nature down to people. And I found very, very, very few NDEs about a hell or hell. That's something I wasn't quite sold on. But I don't expect to be able to. I'm just saying, if you don't have to believe in this hell, are you necessarily in denial and it's a truth you can't handle? Or is it completely your choice? And I just don't have enough information on it to believe it. And you describe it as a metaphorical thing. But then you say he, the devil, he. If it's a metaphorical thing, how can it be a person, an actual being?
I don't know that God is actual being either. There may be, but I call God he and the devil he. They're archetypes and personalities, and I get what you're saying. I do get what you're saying. If we don't believe in a hell, are we in denial? Again, I think it helps if we bring clarity to what would that mean? And Alan Watts was one of my favorite philosophers, and he brought up another book. I can't remember the name of it. There's some great philosophies on what God and heaven might mean. And for me, the concept I have of God is, if we were in the presence of God, it would be in the presence of perfection, which would mean a state of bliss just by the mere presence. And I've heard it said that heaven is being in the beatific, in the joyful presence and beautiful presence of the Creator. That's what heaven could be. And if you take that concept of heaven being in the presence of the Creator, hell would be distanced from the Creator, right? You would have the feeling and the awareness that you were long far away and absent from the Creator's love, protection. I've experienced both in this lifetime here on Earth. I used to live.
That's more common.
What's that?
And, I bet you that's more common than people realize. Being at the other end and doubting and having depression and wanting to say, what's the purpose, and having this great existential crisis. For a second here, I'm enjoying the conversation a lot, but there's El Guapo, which means the handsome. I'm amicably inviting you to come up there and talk because you have a lot to say, and you said you don't trust me because I change my picture a lot. I'd like to just invite you to just come here and talk about your ideas in a friendly way instead of just barking out things from the chat. Because maybe we could get along, it could be.
We might. I dropped the link again, and please, folks are welcome to join. Sorry for the rudeness sometimes offered. We don't control what others do or say.
True. And then that reminds me of Cynthia was talking about last night. People attacking you as soon as you're an online personality. Not necessarily a person who has a channel, but when people get to know you or know your name in chat, the natural thing to do is not to befriend them, but it's to attack them. And that online mentality. And so I noticed that's what that guy here is kind of doing. So I don't know. I think we could just chill here on the panel and he could talk and maybe find out that I'm not so bad. And you don't have to trust me. You don't know me, so I don't blame you. But that's me on the picture. It's me in every picture I change. I change my picture all the time because it's kind of like my personality. I have many facets of my personality, and I have different looks. I don't see it as any big deal. It's like having a paper doll and putting different outfits on every day. It's just stupid. It's just part of my personality. It's me. So without being so judgmental, why don't you just get your little tushy up here? We'll talk.
Absolutely. People are fascinating. And Lindsay, live you, right?
Yeah.
That's what I've decided to do. And I'm going to live as me. Others will live as themselves. And in the end, the truth will determine what is right and wrong. This question kind of goes with where I was saying. I think it can be both. And I believe there may be other experiences beyond the physical form, beyond death. But I don't buy into the ideas of this is our one lifetime, and if you screw up, you make a sin in this lifetime, you're going to go spend eternity in hell and suffer.
I thought Christians believe that.
That's why I was never a Christian.
Oh, denouncing Christianhood.
Well, that's part of my path. I've said that the Christians actually turned me away. The Christians I saw were the evidence I needed to turn me away from the faith. I didn't appreciate them. I mean, even Gandhi said something along the lines of honoring Jesus, but the Christians need a little. The Christians are something else to accept.
Did he say the Christians need a little love or lie?
No, his words were kind and gentle. I can't remember what he said, but he
the lie thing was funny.
He offered something about the distinction between the followers of Jesus and his teachings.
It's always a hierarchy too, no matter what it is. This religion is right. This other one is not as good. This is, Republicans suck. Democrats suck. Whatever it is.
Yes and no. This is the thing. Yes and no. Because the mystics, regardless of faith, they speak the same language. They each understand what they're talking about, but it's the theologians and those who fall into the religious doctrines. That's where the breakups happen. And even in politics, I have faith. I don't believe everyone involved is evil. And I know they're not all as good as they could be. But I actually think there are some people within the systems who are doing what they think is the best they can.
Even if they don't know they're doing wrong. That's what you say.
Well, and even in the government, even in all of the systems that I'm constantly criticizing, even in the governments and the corporate structures, there are benefits to the way they're designed. I mean, I understand why it works, and I just know that we can do better. Humanity, worldwide, all of us, we can all choose to do better. And I think it's easier than we think, honestly.
Yeah, but you have to want to be. And where we're stuck is the people that don't want to change. And we don't all, first of all, we don't all agree on what's right and good. So you have differing opinions on that. Like, I don't want to give that example because it might insult Tarek. So I don't want to do that. I can't give my example for that.
Speak freely. If we offend, we offend. But I've chosen to, well, no, I also respect what you're doing. You're trying to speak in a way that doesn't offend. That is how we're
creed or race, which is impossible. That doesn't offend religion, creed, faith,
right.
sex, gender, whatever. That's nearly impossible. But it fit my example, but I'm just not going to use it.
Fair enough. Well, I've realized this is honestly why my life has led me to where I am. My favorite topics to discuss are politics, economics, and religion. And I don't agree with any of those concepts. So most people, they find a reason to avoid me.
There's corruption in all of them. Yeah, some people don't want to hear about politics at all or government institutions.
Amen. Hey, welcome, Moose.
I saw the flashing lights and I had to come.
I think you saw the devil over your shoulder,
It could be.
flashing red.
I saw the Christmas lights, Jack, and I was like, holy shit, you stepped up your light game. And then I saw Lindstastic up here, and I almost thought that she was a paid-for person because of that picture. And so I had to come and be honest with you and tell you my sins.
Oh,
I just had to tell you my sins, my brother. And so instead of talking behind your back, I would talk straight to your face. And
That's
here
funny.
we are now, an awkward situation.
Well, thanks for joining, man.
a paid for a person. That could mean quite a few things.
I'm glad you caught that.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I've paid for people's time before, but never a woman's. And it was never sexual either. It was literally just therapy, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not funny anymore, Jack. I thought I could be, but I dropped the ball. What's the topic today?
Finding mental balance. Have you found mental balance? Do you think?
I mean, is that a
That
question we have to even ask ourselves? Like, if I found mental balance, would I be here today?
I'd hope so. I would. I'm
That's a
hoping to
good
find more
answer.
people. Well, I'm hoping to find more people to join who have found mental balance. So,
I'll tell you right now, though, there's a guy down there, broken system, broken trust, and that guy, he's completely broken. He was talking about incest with his sister on the other stream, and I'm afraid if you bring him up here, we might actually have to have a come to Jesus moment because the things that he's done and said and admitted to are quite disgusting. And I think he does need to let it out. He came over here with the intention of letting it out, was what he said.
hmm, I'm not so sure about
Online
letting
people,
out.
though.
Well, actually, this brings an interesting segue back into an earlier topic. Uh, Lindsay, we were talking about how the nature to laugh sometimes, laughing at the sickness, laughing at the problems, laughing at the disease. Sometimes those sickness and disease aren't things to be laughed at, like the wars of today. I mean, you know, I laugh to feel better. I laugh when I'm nervous. I do laugh when yeah, I laugh when I'm nervous, when I'm afraid.
Here's a good question, Jack. Is using humor to negate the pain, is that evil? Could it possibly be evil?
That's a good question. And it could be. When we laugh at pain as though it brings us joy to see others hurt, that's a sign of someone who's got some hurt within them. They need to look inside and figure out, hey, why am I sick? Um, Now, if it's ourself, I got hurt in the past. God, I remember crying like a little girl. If I can laugh at myself for how much I allowed myself to be hurt, that's a different perspective. I don't think we should be laughing at others' hurt or failures. But you know what? It seems to be. I've got what looks to be Christos in the back, and I'm not sure why.
Christos is flying high today. He's vibing high.
Yup, that's right. Just coming in, flying through to remind everyone that the God of media sees all. Just being here as a witness.
So you don't have a mind of your own, you just do the will of others?
Yeah, I've assimilated into the Borg, known as Unslavia. I think we know this.
You
But,
have to give him
I'm
credit
not
though,
coming in
Jack.
hostile.
I mean,
For
I
what?
I said the lights. I mean, the lights got me going, like the shiny lights. So I mean, that's kind of a too. So I mean,
Hey, your audio's breaking
he
up, and
didn't
I
say
heard
anything.
Hey, Moose, he brought nothing. He brought a juvenile interruption and distraction for what? What a fucking clown. Get a life, Christos. Grow up.
would you be willing to talk to that guy who's either trolling about incest or has a real problem?
I would be willing to talk to him. And actually, if anyone wants to join the link, I don't mean to bring the energy down. I really don't. But there's a time and a place. And this stupidity from Christos, he just presents himself as wasted potential. Because I and many others saw a lot of good things in that kid, but he just wants to present himself as a flying monkey.
Yeah, he
Here's
shouldn't
another
have
one.
presented himself like that. You know, if he would have came in and said, "Hey, I'm Christos. I'm here because I'm Christos. What's up, Jack?" That'd be different. But he said, "No, I've got the brand on."
Yeah, he's over serving a greater ego than his. It's hilarious.
This is a
I,
fantastic distraction. This is what I was talking about before with the one kid. If you had two kids and one kid is needy, and then the other one is willing, ready, able to be parented or to be loved or to have some sort of attention or something, the little bratty kid gets all the attention, and it's that guy. We
Well,
all get
sorry,
bratty.
Lindsay. I didn't mean to be the bratty kid.
No, 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 no,
I
no,
just
not
saw
you.
two people here, and I thought,
No, not you. I'm talking about the guy that got up on the panel and wanted to just talk about nothing.
you
Stupid
know,
stuff.
the thing is, people like him, I got to give it to him only because he's representing. It's like a Nike kid, somebody who's sponsored by Nike. He wears Nikes everywhere he goes, right? And he's always proud of his Nikes. That's fine. That's fine. That's just who he is. You just sometimes, you sometimes you let people be who they are, Jack, and you just laugh it off. Like he would have shut up after that, and he wouldn't have done anything, and then he might have said something important, or he might not have. But
and okay, so
That's
the
true.
result is I would be gambling with my time, my patience, my broadcast, my stream,
true.
the time and attention of those who tuned in here for his little bullshit games. Why should I entertain any of that for him?
Ne-
Why?
Never said you should. I'm just discussing it. I'm actually just trying to like piece it together myself. It's strange, right? We all
Well,
think it's strange.
the thing is you've shown similar patterns, and I'm glad to see that you are growing the way that you have. You are.
Well,
Um,
maybe that's why I'm defending him so much because I mean, I've done it. I do it.
I think it
I've
could
toned
be, to
back.
be honest, that's actually probably insightful. It could be because you know that you have done that, you're more willing to make excuses and to defend it. That's normal, but
It's like a alcoholic or whatever defending another alcoholic. Oh well, it's just one drink. It's just two drinks. He didn't really have much. Oh, he was just a little tipsy.
I call it enabling. And that's what I'm trying to help America wake up from. I don't think the world would be the way that it is if people stopped enabling each other. But that's what these panels do. It seems to be a place for disagreements to be enabled and chaos. I'm trying to break away from that pattern. That's the reason I'm bringing this up, Moose.
Understood. Don't you see how divided America is now, though, by the
Yep.
panels? I mean, like, if we can't even get five people on a panel to like act accordingly and just have a civil conversation, extrapolate that to every city in the entire U.S. and it's like this is kind of a scary thing we're dealing with.
It's an insanity. There is an insanity that has crept into the minds of the masses. I know it is primarily, it's conditioning. It's a result of the conditioning and is based in fear and confusion. But what it results in is a lack of care. And the lack of care creates a lack of presence. This is what Lindsay and I were talking about. When we sin and we miss the mark, we push ourselves away from that which is true and beautiful. And when we push and love, we truthful and loving, that's what we push ourselves away from. And then we're living our life convincing ourselves that everything's okay. We're living in a lie, and God allows us to be a clown. There's a lot of clowns making it on YouTube and elsewhere. It's hilarious. God is amazing. God is so amazing.
There's a buyer for every market. I feel like I'm echoing. No, okay. There's a buyer for every market, but it's ironic that the most money can be made in the markets that are not necessarily benevolent. For example, you can
Tarek,
make a hell of a lot of money out of war.
he's
You
a,
can make a
he's
hell
an
of a lot of money.
interesting one. He's an interesting one.
I don't know if you heard Lindsay was saying something.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My thing cut out. I'm muting.
All right. Thanks, man. Doggone it. Now my phone is ringing in the back. I'm going to welcome Simple Jack. Blessings to you. And I'll be right back, folks.
Hugs, my friends. Hugs. How y'all doing?
Cupcake hugs, man.
Did you guys eat your cupcakes today?
No,
Really?
I
All
had a
right.
wrap. Had turkey in it, but sorry.
Nice. Well, hangry Lindsay asks some spicy questions sometimes, so we're glad you ate something.
Thank you. I guess I'm
Yes.
pretty mild today.
Yes, you're doing great. Asking the tough questions. How you doing, Moose?
What's going on, Simple Jack? You got that vibe, that high
Ooh.
vibe, you know?
Oh, high vibe. I'm hoping to have positive intent. That's my goal. Love and positivity. So I got that from Lindsay. Thank you, Lindsay. You
Oh,
checked me on
okay.
that. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I was asked. Remember, I was asking Monograph that question with a kind of like a jab intent, kind of like, "Oh, you should know what you're doing by now." You know what I mean? Kind of like pushing the waters on that. And I didn't realize that was my intent at the time, and now I know if I go into everything with just a half second of what my intent is and give that half second of thought, it really changes things. So, thank you.
Nice.
Hmm.
It's really cool.
So I have a reason why I came up, Jack. But you go first. You're about to say something. Hello.
No, please, welcome.
Did you eat today?
I don't remember. I don't think
Oh,
I
come
did.
on,
Dude,
dude. All right.
dude,
Well,
if you
please eat
can't
something.
remember
I
if
ate
you
some
ate,
nuts. I ate
you
some
got to
nuts and
take
Well,
care of
fruit.
yourself, Jack.
please eat something, Jack. Please
Well,
eat
I'm trying
something.
to remember. I was going to make some food, and I don't think I did.
I even had to like force
Fruit.
myself to eat a breakfast burrito today. It was so strange. Like I knew I was hungry because I hadn't eaten anything, but I was like, dude, I don't want to eat it. But I was just like, well, I'm just gonna keep on taking bites until it disappears. I knew I needed nutrition, and my stomach was like, nah.
People, we are interesting. And Moose, I wanted to offer thank you. Thank you for you. You're growing, and I don't mean to be rude to you or even Christos. I don't mean to be rude to anyone, honestly, but I guess I must because I do get rude.
The thing is, Jack, is you learn, I learn, everybody else learns, and as we grow, as long as we're moving in the right direction, it doesn't matter how slow you're going. Everybody has their own pace. You can't judge uh, a bird by how it can climb a tree or whatever, you know? Like everybody's different. We all have different abilities and we all learn at different rates. As long as we're not doing any harm to each other, loss or any of that stuff, then everything's fine. You just got to go forward, not backwards. And if you do a couple steps back or whatever, or I do a couple steps back, if somebody is my true friend, they will say it. They'll say, "Hey, dude, you're fucking up. Hey, I see you're not sleeping. Hey, Jack, you haven't eaten today, huh?" You know, stuff like that. That's what a true friend does. A true friend points out where you're slipping.
Forgive me, Moose. I was disappointed in you. I wanted to hold that grudge against you so bad. I heard that you went over to Paul's stream and was like, "Oh, I was cupcaking with a Jack, and I'm sorry for doing that, guys, for being a cupcake." And I was like, "How dare you do that, bro? I thought we were friends." And then you're like, "Fuck those guys." I was like, "Wow, really?" I was like, "All right, if that's how Moose wants to act, I'll stop supporting his show." But I'm sorry, Moose, for doing that to you. I'm gonna start supporting your show again.
We can fight
It's
too. I
not
mean, that's least productive. You guys want to fight and
it's
debate?
not about that. It's I get in this like mode where cuz like I want
We all do,
validation
brother.
from people around me, right? I want all this validation and then I'm like, "Wait a second. These people are telling me I'm doing great, but I'm not feeling good inside. And if I'm not feeling good inside and people are telling me I'm great or something, I'm just not like, and it's not your fault, it's my fault. I
No,
talk
that's why I'm
I
asking for forgiveness. I apologize for
oh,
judging you, for
well
learning.
then thanks for forgiving me. Shit.
Yeah, dude, I'm sorry. I don't, yeah, sorry about that,
No,
man.
I'm sorry. See, this is where we're cupcaking. I say a lot of shit for
No.
effect too, because on the other platform, on Paul's show, it's pretty much entertainment when I go there. I don't have anything to add when it comes to rights or freedom. The only thing I have to add on his show is chaos, interruptions. When somebody is acting a fool, like I'm supposed to be the one that does the dirty work, kind of thing.
You just gotta know when to turn the bit off, I guess. You know when to
Yeah,
play the bit and when not to play the bit. You're doing great, Moose. Congratulations, man. You're really improving. We see it. Thank you for
no,
being
I
here.
appreciate it. Thank
Yeah.
you, Jack.
Lindsay, you're asking the tough questions lately. That's fun to watch. That's some content.
I didn't think I was today. I thought it was pretty mild. But I mean, I was saying if you guys want to fight or argue, it doesn't, I mean, getting, not, okay, not fight. Jack probably wouldn't like that. If you guys want to argue or debate over something, let's do that too. I mean, because I know it's kind of fun to do that, but also males seem to like it. You don't have to behave because there's a chick on the panel.
Oh, I mean, I'm down with that too. If we're like arguing a point, like if you want to talk about like transgenders or something like that, like I have a strong stance. I'm not a hater or nothing, but
That's why I was actually kind of curious about Jack. He said his favorite topics were religion and government. And I was
Oh,
told those are actually the topics you need to stay away from if you want to keep friends. But there's got to be something we can talk about in government, and in religion that we all can discuss without overstepping boundaries. And I don't know if that's possible, but Jack, if you have some topics you want to maybe conceptualize, I think that'd be fun because I can't seem to
we could
bring up any
argue money.
topics.
We could argue money, Jack, because I owned a business and Jack is really against profit, right? And so I was kind of for profit because that's how I got paid from the company. And so, I mean, we could argue about that. I mean, but it only goes so far because, I mean,
I, I
you
think once you make $300 million, anything after that should go back to the taxes. I don't. Anybody with $300 million should be able to live, have their family taken care of, be able to invest. Their grandkids are taken care of. The grandkids are taken care of as long as the economy works. After $300 million, all your money goes back. I don't know what you need after 300 million.
dude, check this out. If you have $1 million and you put it in the bank and you get 5%, like you can live off that for the rest of your life.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Okay, so let's think about that.
Yes.
It's
I
all
mean,
skewed.
it's
Sorry, Jack.
all imagined. This interest, money, earning money doesn't actually exist except in tables and actuaries calculations. And it's the whole money system is built on debt. And sorry. Yes, we could get into economics and politics, but the key thing that brings us together, here's what I encourage. Anytime, especially with family relationships, you're having these conversations that are a little tricky, do it within yourself and out loud. Remind each other, hey, we're here and now, right? Here and now as beings, we're sharing this experience together. So what we've got here and now is far more important than what we might think of. That's the key.
Can I give a tip to panel guests? When someone's talking, if you hit mute on your button or hit mute on your mic, it really helps preventing interruptions and noise interruptions and allows people to really talk and hear clearly. So when Jack speaks, I like to mute.
Now you're muted.
See? Yeah.
I don't
But
know.
no, Jack, this is why I came up on the panel.
Thank you, brother.
I've noticed I'm getting better and better, not the best, at reading people's energy and when the energy changes. And I know when to. I know that sometimes in panels, I'll just leave because I can't. I can't. The topic's not me, or it's going someplace I can't relate. But what I've noticed with you, this is from a positive, loving intent, is when you start speaking about the future and where the possibilities we may go and all that, I see you start stressing out.
Interesting.
And 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 I don't know if it's a positive stress, but I see you not in the moment stressing about something that you can't grab. So just a heads up, and I really notice that when you don't do that, You're funny. You're in the moment, making these great jokes. You're clever. You seem to smile. You really seem to be more interactive with the panel and everything. But when people start going off on their tangents of religion or how we should do things, you kind of just.
Hmm.
So I want you to be more in
Thank
the
you.
moment. So and
Thank you.
yeah.
I'm my initial feedback. I'm hoping, although I'm not dismissing. I am gonna consider what you're saying. I don't want to feel stress for the future or present that. I do feel an excitement for the future, though. Honestly,
I think you're too passionate about what other people where they fall short, Jack. Because
sometimes you're right.
I'll see you get mad, right? Because somebody will respond to you the wrong way, and that I honestly believe is you're passionate about wanting them to be at a place that they're just not at yet.
You're right. You are right. I'm working on that too. Aaron, actually, the life is good guy has been a good example for me and helped me grow with that. What accepting people for the life they're living. They are how they are, and I can love them.
Yep.
Everybody is doing the best they can with what they have.
You could do better with your hat, bro. It's.
It is a little off.
Well,
Sorry.
it's actually a signature for me.
You
We
know,
laughed
this,
about it.
I actually want to press back just a little bit on what you said, though. There is a partial truth. Everyone is doing the best they can. But I know if I'm honest with myself, I know when I reflect, most times I could have done better. I withheld
Yeah,
compassion. I withheld some temperaments, you know?
yeah. I want to fight back against this too because I don't think everybody works to their true potential on a daily basis.
I
I
didn't
think that
say that.
we have peaks and valleys and whatnot, but we could do better. We could all do
Oh,
better.
So Jack,
I'll,
thank you for explaining your point of view. Because fear and excitement actually push off the same energy. It's just hard to recognize. Your body's energy's high and not focused. So thank you for explaining that you're more excited about the future and then just being like stressed out about it. Thank you for explaining, Jack.
Thank you, brother.
Somebody in the chat was asking you to talk more about mental balance. I don't think you saw that, but that was the topic, right? Are we
It
supposed to
is.
do it or not? I
It
don't
is.
mean to be pushy. I thought it was, like a free
No,
what it goes, or do we want to go back? It sounds like that person's here for that.
please and thank you. My idea of mental balance is coming to peace with the past, the future, becoming whole and complete in the present. And if we can find that mental balance between the past and the future, the good and the bad, our wants and desires versus what we already have, man, life is good.
Yeah,
I
Jack.
feel good.
Speaking of life is good, since we're going to talk about mental health, would you ever be down for doing a rap song of like positive affirmations? Like positive affirmation rap. I'm being serious. You all think I'm joking, but like there's not enough like positive affirmations out there and good vibes, right? And you could throw your motto out there and at the end you could be like live without fear, bitch, or something, you know?
Oh,
Well,
really? There's nothing to
It
laugh
would
about
go
that, right?
viral, I think.
I love it. I love it.
Start a beat, Moose. Find a beat.
Oh,
Find a beat.
I'd have to work and practice for some rhythm. Um, although,
The music
one never
aspect. I have the
knows.
beats though.
I believe you do. And actually, we've got some very creative writers. Mr. Scott 2B, he's got a lot of experience with bringing out songs. Um,
You have all the resources at the tip of your fingers, Jack.
Invention.
You're in the right place, brother.
I know. This is how I feel, honestly. My life, my Jack's life, it's still got a lot of I don't know. I don't know what the destiny is going to bring, but I feel within myself that everything with us, beyond us, what we haven't even learned of yet, everything is aligning perfectly for a future that I'm looking forward to.
To help, what I do to help with mental balance is to understand that there's everything has a give and take. Everything's a 50-50. But I had to find a foundation in Christianity.
Amen. So you read my mind there. For me, mental balance is a struggle because that's just how it is. Um, I'm always struggling to find enough time for myself, time to finish the projects that I'm working on. I always feel like I haven't done enough in a day. And that's my biggest thing.
I
I
would
would love.
offer, sorry, go ahead. Moose, I would offer that you're trying to control too much. I'd go within yourself and reevaluate. Okay, if I'm overscheduling myself, right, then I'm either placing too much expectation, too much responsibility on myself, or I'm not focusing and I'm allowing myself to get distracted. But either way, it's up to you. And if you allow things to get done and choose your intentions and priorities, may not get everything done, but as long as you're focused and getting things done, life is a journey, right?
I piggyback on
Amen.
that.
This is what I've been practicing for myself. I mean, I'm not, there is value. When you've got a goal or you get an idea, get the pen out and paper and get the movement happening. Get clarity in what you're thinking, your idea, your vision, and then work backwards with a plan. And then as you develop your plan, allow your plan to adjust, allow your plan to grow. Don't become fixated on your plan. The plan is just another tool. And so if we grow and allow our tools to grow, our paths and our goals to grow, life is a journey and it's a practice. We practice becoming ourselves, and eventually we might get it right.
I'd say we practice accepting ourselves and
I
then
love that.
trying to do better with whatever it is that we
I love that.
intrinsically or like what we desire. But
What also helped
acceptance,
me.
self-acceptance is like huge. That's something that a lot of people haven't come to yet. Once
Your
you
I'm
get
audio.
there, it's easy to accept other people also. Once you accept yourself, then you can look at other people and be like, I'm not any different than them, except that my experience has been different. But they're the same. They've been through all the same stuff. And then it becomes very easy to not get triggered or bothered by other people because of what they have to, their perception or experience. If it goes against what you believe,
Hey, you're a
ideally,
good
it's all
example of taking a beat down, Aaron, and coming back with love.
Here's
well.
another
I
one. Yeah.
Ideally, it's being able to. That's what I was gonna say. Share with other people, communicate that to them in a way that they ideally can understand. And if not yet, we're planting seeds. But you can't get to that point until you understand it for your own self. And until you understand it for your own self, you're going to have that conflict between, ideals.
And another thing I'd like to add is look for mentors or people that you like and look up to and see what their habits are. For example, there was was it a naval commander? He says the reason why I make my bed in the morning is that when I want to come home after a hard day's worth of work, I want fall into a bed that's clean, press sheets and all that, like that's just an unusual feeling. Affirmations. People do morning affirmations. That's something that really helps. Really set your day off. There's and in the moment, you're trying to find mental balance. I know there's two techniques that have been described. As one is grabbing your left thumb and pinching it, and then you'll feel your pulse and breathe with that. And apparently that's one technique. And for me, I put my hand over my heart, breathe, and recognize my heartbeat. So that's what I do for the moment. If you need mental clarity or mental balance in the moment, and if you need something to look forward in the future. So that's how I do that.
Another one, Simple Jack. Nice to meet you. I'm Aaron. Another one is, you said first thing in the morning, which is great, and first thing before you go to sleep, because then you're programming the subconscious through the night to wake up the next day in that state already.
Training.
So you can do both. Yeah, it's all training. It's all practice. It's all practice. But you have to be aware first before you can even practice. That's why I appreciate everybody here.
Aaron, you sound like you're in the shower.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, there's some hiss when I turned you up, and
well, I'll shut up.
I want to share something really quick. Well,
Please.
Okay, it's not going to be really quick because nothing I say is really quick. There's a very simplistic personality theory that basically goes like this. There are type A's and type B's. Type A's are very driven and unrelenting. They're self-motivated. They are perfectionists. They like to get things done. If you tell them to deposit something in the bank within a week, they'll have it in today or tomorrow. Then there's type B's, which are more easygoing, relaxed. They even speak more slowly. They think, you know what, it's going to get done when it gets done. I'll relax. I have an entire week. And I'm not going to stress over that. And the ideal, the balance would be to have both A and B. Because if you're all B, you need some more of A to kick you in the butt. And if you're all A, you need some more B to relax. And
I see what you're saying.
So yeah, we're talking about balance. And I was thinking, since I'm more towards a type A, the spastic perfectionist kind of thing. And if I didn't do something, I'm extremely disappointed in myself. And if I didn't do it perfectly, which is never, I get disappointed. So obviously that's not enough type B. So what I do for anybody here who can relate to being a type A, very driven and just unrelenting, and I got to do this, and that, and then feeling overwhelmed. Something you can do with that I do is I take my 5 biggest problems, for example, or 4, and our biggest concerns. Let's say one has to do with finances, one has to do with relationships, one has to do with, I don't know, something I have to do at work. And I prioritize them in a matter of when they need to get done and which one's most important for me to get done. It's going to depend on your personality too, because some people would always put work before family. Some people would always put family before work, et cetera, et cetera. There's no right or wrong answer. So you decide what's important to you. You take 3 or 4 of these things that are completely chaotic and pressing on you and feeling out of your control, and there's time limits on them. And you prioritize them. Instead of 4 or 5 items, you're going to make it down to the top 3. And then you organize those in terms of importance altogether. And you create a plan, like Jack was saying, for each one. Let's say I chose to work on the relationship first, because that's how I am or who I am. So I would create a plan. For example, say I'm fighting with a mate, somebody I'm with, and we can't get along about anything. Then I would say, okay, I'm going to examine this, why we're doing this, and then I'm going to come up with some questions and sit down, have a talk with them, and figure out how I can relieve some of this stress and, understand some of the erroneous ways that I'm thinking, some of the accusations that I'm throwing, some misinterpretations I'm giving. Then he and I have this talk, and I say, okay, we had the talk, things are going to get better. I know how to improve it. We had this communication. Now I can go on to work. My work problem. What do I do for this? Now I go on to anyway, it feels like getting major things off of the checklist. And if you're spastic like me, it can really calm you down. And even doing stuff like this, taking time to sit here and talk is a nice break, and it's not wasteful. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. This can be useful to me. It can be useful to anyone you don't know. So if you're feeling guilty about not doing your to-dos or your list of the 5 most stressful things, consider that it's okay to take a break, to exercise, to talk to somebody about something stupid or important, or whatever you want to do. You're forgiving yourself. You're being human. You're taking a break. Okay, I'm finally done.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, we
Is
can
it
hear you.
okay?
Yes.
Okay. So what I found, and you know this, Jack, because we've talked about it kind of extensively, is that you can't, like, there's nothing that happens in the world that is not part of your journey that's not going to take you to the next. So when you think that you're, quote, wasting time, you're really not wasting time. You're exactly where you're supposed to be at that time, during that time, in order to, get the experience to take you to the next, because you never, never, never know what one little piece is going to prompt an inspiration for you to become that better version of yourself, right? Do you agree? There's no such thing as wasting time.
No, I disagree.
And when you understand that,
I think there is such
well,
thing as wasting time. I know there's
okay.
such thing as wasting time, because whenever I'm doing things, I've started the practice. What other things could I be doing? Is this the most important use of my time?
If there is no utility in what you're doing, like say you choose to go harass some kids on the playground, there's really no utility in that, right? So you would obviously know this is a waste of time.
Yeah.
If you want to go play basketball,
no, I'm going to disagree.
No, okay.
Well, Aaron, you
No,
make
because I'm going to say
excuses
that the
sometimes
lesson that you
too.
might gain from that is reflection later on. The lesson that you might gain from that is reflection later on.
Right, and
Like,
the
I was a
lesson you'd
dumbass. I should not
probably,
have been.
Aaron, the lesson you'd probably
But
gain
that's
in
not
that
a waste of time.
example.
That's what I'm getting at. That would
My
be
God.
to say that your life is a waste of time for
Aaron,
anybody. That
Aaron, you're lying
would
to
be like a
yourself,
general.
okay? You are. You are lying to yourself.
Okay. All right. Well, it's been unveiled to me.
Okay, and you know what? Let me not jump to this conclusion. If I was telling myself that, I know I would be lying to myself. I don't want to jump to that conclusion for you. But I know for a fact that life is short. Each day we have limited number of hours in the day, especially limited hours where we are conscious and moving. And so those hours when we're conscious and moving, if we've got desires in our heart, if we've got goals, we've got, we want to do greater things for ourselves, for others. I mean, if we don't have a plan or if we don't have a purpose, you're right, Aaron, there is no waste of time. But if you've got a plan and a purpose, you start prioritizing your time. You start intentionally spending your time, recognizing that every time we spend is a sacrifice. We're sacrificing our time, energy, and attention doing this right now, as opposed to any number of things we could be doing to improve our lives.
Can I ask you this? Do you believe that you've wasted time over on Paul's show?
Yes, I know I have. I know I've limited
Okay.
myself
So
to
I'm glad
doing
that you said
nothing
that,
more than
because
entertainment.
you're making my point. You're making my point. My
How
point is,
so?
if you had not spent that time there, you would not be doing what you're doing here, right
That is
now,
not
which is
true in the
actually,
slightest, Aaron.
more
Aaron,
in
that is
line.
a bullshit. Hey,
You
Aaron, hold on. That's a bullshit narrative that
wouldn't
you're
be
picking up
here
from Paul.
otherwise.
You think I wouldn't be on
It's not from
YouTube if
Paul.
it wasn't for my time
Dude,
with
do you know I
Paul?
had a conversation with somebody today and completely defended you to the end
I
when they
don't
were
care.
attacking you And I was
I
like,
don't
he
care.
is doing
Hello.
something that I respect, I admire. He's standing up, and anybody that's standing up for
So
rights and
why are you
freedoms
trying to,
and
Aaron,
you
can you
know
please stop? Can
humanity in general,
Aaron,
trying to
hello,
make people better. And
Aaron,
I agree with what you were saying too.
hello.
Go ahead.
We've got a lag here, okay? And even when we don't have a lag, sometimes you and I have had problems discussing. I don't want the lecture, okay? You were trying to build the premise that my time with Paul Unslaved was not wasted. You tried to build the narrative that my time wasted, and it was wasted. Here's how I know it was wasted, Aaron, because I
It's
looked at my real
it's not
life options. You don't really care what I have to say, do you?
I think something's wrong with his mic.
Mike or head?
Oh, shit.
What did I walk into?
Nothing.
Are we trying to fix Lig's toxic positivity?
No, we're not. You know
I
what?
think you guys are talking in parallel. Actually, I
We
see
are.
Aaron's point, and
Yeah.
the whole thing really is about choice and making choices about how you're going to spend your time. Whether I do
Opportunity
A
cost.
or B, right? I'm still going to gain something from it. But would I rather do A
There you
and see who I can possibly meet and what can come of it, or would I rather go tease kids on the playground and steal their ball? Well, you could have a great thing happen if you did that too. Who's to know? But utility wise, I'm going to check the thing that I think would turn out for better, right? I mean, just like you would too, Aaron. Right?
when you know better, and that's the whole point of the panel, and that's what you were saying. That's why I said I do agree with what you were saying, Jack, because you're saying, you do have a choice as to, do a, this or that. However, what my point is obscure, and it's not got anything to do with you personally. It's got to do with everybody across the board, and that you can't screw up in whatever it is that you're doing because it's taking you to the next. If you hadn't have gone through that, when I was like 13 or 12, I stole shit all the time from sewers. If I didn't do that, I wouldn't be the person that I am now. It taught me lessons in that act of being or doing. It taught me that I don't want to do that anymore. It taught me that, that's not good for my psyche. So whatever it is that we're doing is taking us to ideally that elevated awareness or understanding of what you preach, and I'll preach the same because I believe love, love across the board. If you can get to that love and that golden rule thing, dude, you're there. And then what's next? I don't know. Like you said, it's all a mystery from there. But you can't do anything wrong. The time that you spend is not wrong time spent. That's all I'm
It
trying to
sounds
get
like
across to the general. It's not about you per se.
this
It's
is like
about
giving a
people in
trophy to
general.
everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
I've
I do like the Christmas lights.
I think it's about utility, Aaron, and choices.
Didn't it get you to click that link? I mean, I saw those Christmas lights and I was like, damn, Jackson the spirit.
It's well, it's an
I agree with
indicator
you,
of change.
sister. It is. And until you know better, you can't do better.
Tribe just gave you a cease and desist.
And then when you do know better, you're still gonna, make your human experience.
I see what you're saying. I completely understand it. But it's sort of like praying too, where, dear God, I want a shiny new bike tomorrow. Now versus, hey, you know what? I'm not going to just sit here and pray. I'm actually going to get a job and work for it, go find out what the price is. I'm going to help it along. So the decisions you make also help the outcome, correct? There could be a better decision than the one that's all I'm saying. But I do agree that everything, bad and good, definitely affects you and shapes you.
I agree. I'm just saying.
You're breaking up.
That's all.
Aaron.
It's like we're all human. We're all going through the human experience.
Aaron's just saying that he really
I'm gonna
cherished the
change
time
headsets.
that you were on the panel with us, Jack, and he wanted to spend more time, and that's why he's here with us today.
Interesting. I appreciate that perspective.
I love Jack. I love you, Moose.
He made a choice to be
Blue
with
State,
you,
I love
Jack.
you too. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, we're better than someone that marries you because we chose to be here and we choose to be here all the time. You know what I mean? We choose
Every
to come
day,
back
make
to
that
Jack's.
decision again.
I don't know. Flo, make it sound better. You know what I was trying to say. I was trying to compliment
my
it.
homie Moose is just trying to bring positivity. He's saying that every day we make a new decision to spend time with Jack all over again from scratch, and every day
Thank you.
we're happy we made that choice.
I appreciate how you presented that, Flo.
Or
Thank you. I was
Rose.
breaking down like a Ford Pinto on the freeway, fucking on fire and everything, and I'm like, a Flo comes by with the fire extinguisher for me.
This is what homies are for.
We help each other. Yeah.
So I missed most of it. It looks like, and I guess. Well, never mind. I was gonna ask what happened, but like I'm gonna think better of that.
he's talking about mental health and balance.
Yeah, we've actually had some good discussions. The idea is mental balance really ties into flow, and the more I was thinking about it from the comment the other day, Wu Wei.
Did Lindsay dissect anyone?
She
No,
broke
not
it down a little bit, but she was kind.
I think the only attack that happened was when Aaron was trying to make his point, and then he called you out for being on Paul's panel, which then got personal when he said it wasn't. And then we had a little bit of a.
I may have jumped to conclusions about what he was saying, but
no, it's been really mild flow. In fact, I bet people wish that you would inject some sarcasm, some debate. It's up to you.
I have nothing. I have no debates. I have no disagreements. I have nothing but love and cupcakes and helping Moose out and helping. I'm with Lig. Everything is positive. If you just insist everything's positive, then how can it be negative?
Okay, that's burying your head in the sand. I guess I'll take that one.
That is exactly what it is.
Okay, so you're being sarcastic.
My intention is
to distort.
We have to guess his intention.
Aaron, we lost your sound again, but
divide the gap between.
I know you're talking, but
did he say mind the gap?
I think so.
It's like his signal was bad, so he went in the basement.
Okay. Maybe.
Try turning your camera off so that it's not. I don't know. It's not working.
It shouldn't be.
It is.
Can you hear me now?
Reload.
We can hear you. You're just delayed and kind of weak. And your audio's quiet.
Yo mama.
There you go.
We're back to the old insults now.
Jeez.
Oh
my intention. Can you hear this?
Yes.
Okay, my intention is to divide the gap of separation between people in general. That's all.
How do you divide the gap?
To help people recognize that they're all going through the same experience based on their own individual experience. But we're all going through the same thing here on Earth in this realm. We're all spiritual beings going of understanding, ideally. And I can't say that I understand it all, but I have come to an understanding by way of seek and ye shall find. And that is you and I are the same. You being plural, not you, flow state. Oh.
I hate the word games that people play to try to bend logic.
What's not logical about?
I stopped
bro.
I think
listening.
you meant bridging the gap. You said divide the gap, which would further the gap. So you threw
Well,
one.
I mean, I understood that was a mistake, but I mean, like we're different individuals, right? So the whole we're one thing, we're the same thing. I mean, it's only on an abstract level is that true. It's not really true in any tangible way.
But wait, I believe only the abstract is true. The tangible, this is not actually real. The abstract is the real.
What makes you think that?
That's
Um,
experience.
my life experience is
If
convinced.
I punch you in the face and you tell yourself that it doesn't hurt, what happens? Like the real is definitely more real than
Yes.
not real.
Yes, but it's limited. Our real is limited by our awareness, by the focus. I mean, yeah, you punch me in the face. I'm not that skilled. It's gonna hurt, but I can direct my awareness away from the pain and be in theory, right? And that's the
Right.
idea. That's
But I mean,
what
my point was that
real is
one
real,
of the real is real,
but
yeah.
the abstract is more real.
It's not more real. It's
You know
it's
what's-
more it's more
I need
real
a
as long as the real
example of
isn't
abstract.
fucking with you.
Mm.
What'd you
What
say?
were you saying,
Can I
Lindsay?
have an example of your abstract versus concrete? Can he? I don't understand I understand the words, but not how you're using it. You said that the specific activity is a tangible thing, but it's not true. Instead, you said the abstract is the truth. Now you got me confused. What is the abstract of the tangible?
Well, I was trying
Imagination.
maybe I was trying to play into what Flo was saying, that what
If you
Aaron's
can't use his example, how about another one?
abstract.
They're sort of taking
Here,
they're
okay.
not
Here, rather than the form, the physical form of being, which is the tangible part, I focus on the essence part, which is the experience. The experience is, I don't know how to describe it. It's the the practical part of I don't know,
Life
of
or
life.
what situation or okay, so you wouldn't go back if you were having a like for example a review of yourself and say, oh look at day December 23rd, 2013. Look at Jack was a bad boy, he had a drink or whatever it is. You would look at the whole picture and say, well, Jack lived a life with a bunch of problems and yet he had to overcome. But overall, he's a good person with a good heart, kind of thing. Is that what you're talking about?
I think so. Looking at the experience, well, and even with the drinking, not so much. Actually, I think this is what you're saying. The drinking might be a great example. Rather than blaming the drinking or blaming myself, I see it as an experience. It's an experience I went through where, you know, the booze got the better of me, so to say.
But you still take culpability, right? Accept
Oh,
culpability for it.
absolutely.
Overall, is that a form of forgiveness, or is that what you're talking about on balanced life? Is that you don't keep judging yourself for these specific things, but you look at the overall picture?
That might be, and tied into what Aaron is saying too, the acceptance of just it is what it is, and without judgment, that is kind of balance. Where I try to find, and I don't lie to myself, I don't deny the evil or the darkness like Flo wants to present. I do seek to find the good, right? Sometimes you got to look harder and be more creative in your mind to find the good out of the betrayal or the hurt or the
Or
accident.
accept that there is no good. Maybe there is no good in that at all, except for the very fact that you learn from it.
Sometimes that's the good you take. Sometimes the good is that I experienced it, I survived it, and I'm stronger for it. Or I've learned from it. But it's better than complaining about it, honestly. That's what I
Oh,
feel.
damn it. I came in here to complain. I got kicked out of here, right? And so I couldn't read the chat anymore. So I clicked on Paul's, right? And then I see like 100
Uh-oh.
Now you're breaking up. What is with this?
I was thinking about that saying while he gets his mic
It's-
ready.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I guess I'm just not supposed to be cordial with anyone.
You're
I'm supposed
back.
to be.
So you got hit with a bunch of messages? Is that what you were saying?
Oh yeah, the people, they're mad. They're angry that I came over here and cupcaked. They said that I'm disingenuous and I'm all kinds of terrible things because I'm not allowed to converse. Like they say I'm playing the side of Shaitan or something. Like,
It's kind of what I'm talking about as far as dividing the gap or and closing the gap, however you want to put it. But the gap is that people are judging people based on their own experience and not judging them based on their intention and what they're actually trying to do or doing within this world. Jack, I defended you extensively for probably 20 minutes today from somebody. I'm not going to say who because it doesn't matter. But I was like, dude, if you don't realize that this guy has got a good heart, he's trying to do the right thing, he's trying to share that message with people, he's going to reach the people that he reaches within this realm, and he's going to plant seeds as you are, this other person. I'm not going to say who because it doesn't matter. But we're all trying to do the same thing. And when we're coming at each other with an attack, it's got to be ego-based. It has to be. Because if you can see somebody's soul in their being and their intention, then you can understand that that's what they're trying to do, regardless of if they resonate with your personality or not. You have to look past people's personality based on, their upbringing or experiences, and listen to the message, understand the message. And that's what I'm trying to do for anybody. And I said, I'll stand up for anybody that's trying to do the right thing, guaranteed, no matter what. I don't care. I'll defend them. That's my position. And anybody can attack me, and I don't care. Because I'm here for freedom, justice, humanitarianism, like being able to be your own person, so long as you're not causing loss, injury, or harm. And I think that you're doing that. You're spreading a good message, and I'll defend that to the end. And the only thing I did have to say, and I said this, I'll say anything about I won't say anything behind somebody's back that I won't say to their face. The only thing I had to say is when you said something about depopulation and you were encouraging that, I did not agree.
You know that was a joke, right?
Outside of that, I agree with. Well, I didn't at the time, so I didn't agree with it. I don't agree with it, and
Now that you know that it's a joke,
trying to spread a positive message and uplift other people.
You didn't see the contradiction between that I'm on here trying to uplift people, and you wanted to believe that I was serious about the comment about depopulation? Because I've heard you say that before. That Jack talked about depopulation. I saw you do that before.
Well,
you don't see the contradiction in yourself with that idea? All right. Yeah, I know. Well, don't believe it.
Said that.
Okay.
It's the same thing that Moose was talking about when he first got here. He first said, I'm reliant upon too many exogenous forces, meaning what people say outside of you. The names you get called, blah, 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 blah. We all get them. They distract you from chat. I had the same experience today. But Aaron's telling you that he's reached a certain point in his living or process or thinking that no longer really gets to him anymore. He's still going to say what he has to say. But just for you, to Aaron, to say that Moose could do that automatically. He can't. He has to work on it. It's a process. He will get there. He will get to where you are, but he's not there yet. Because he came in saying that, and also because he came in another time saying, this is what people are saying about me. I can't do this and I can't do that. It's like there comes a certain point when you're out of high school, you're out of college, you are supposed to be able to get all, just shrug your shoulders and get over it, but we don't. So it's kind of confusing. I guess it becomes less painful in your brain as time goes on.
And I say that's the importance of the panels that are happening now, is to spread that knowledge and understanding so that people don't have to create that gap between each other based on.
They will anyway.
Dude, I'm telling you, if I sat down with one person, no matter their background or what, I guarantee within 2 hours we would be on the same page regardless of their experience, because we're both human. And if
because you would adhere to their page.
I'm human and I've had a different experience.
Yep. That's it. Enable. I don't know.
Is that what it
is?
Is that what
I
it
don't
is?
want to be too critical, but I do think that's what you do, Aaron. I think you enable people. Possibly. From what I've seen.
I encourage people that are doing the right things.
I was saying that he would.
If they're doing the right thing, I encourage it. If they're not, listen.
He can make anybody's position be the right thing.
Right. And that's what
Tommy
happened.
is a perfect
Aaron and I have had
example of what I do not agree with.
Right. Well, Aaron and I have had disagreements on the topic of bullying
as well.
And he's particularly because of what he brought up before, my time on the Paula and Slave panel. I think it's a bunch of egoic nonsense that really doesn't serve a lot of people, and I know it didn't serve me as well as it could have. But Aaron, you might be turning a blind eye when things are right in front of your face. It's possible. We all do it. That's why we've got Joe Biden as the dummy in the White House.
Yes.
I don't know, but
all show. That's a lie.
That's why we should confront it. I think we should stop living in our fantasy worlds and we should confront it.
It's all about a balance all over again. I can give many examples in my personal life where I gave somebody too many chances and then a bad thing happened. Lo and behold, wow. Because I was raised by a hippie, a very happy-go-lucky Peter Pan type of woman who I admire. But at the same time, she said, you know what, don't be racist. You should talk to everyone. Everyone's a human being. We're all the same. We just have different colors, this and that. It sounded really good to me and really beautiful, and I believed it. And when I put it to practice, I got stalkers. And that's exaggerating. I only got one. But I met up with some
I'm not even black.
No. Well, okay.
So your mom was right on that point.
He's saying he's your stalker.
What happened is I was really nice to everybody and gave everybody the benefit of the doubt. And if that's where you're coming from, because we're all people, we're all flesh and blood kind of thing, it's a kind of naivete that the truth is uglier than that. It's in practicality and practical terms that'll get you in trouble and that'll get you stepped on. So if we're talking about mental health and balance here, I would say it's okay to judge. It's okay to say, no, I don't want to talk to that person because they look homeless. And it's okay to say, yeah, I do want to talk to them. I don't care. But it doesn't mean that,
it's okay to be you.
Right. And there's no problem sometimes with being, discerning and accepting that divide, and it's there for
that's what I was going to say. You have to approach it with discernment, and discernment is a learned thing or an experience thing. Like, you don't get discernment, just like that. It comes with experience over time. So I'm not saying to abide by what I'm saying. I'm saying that the goal is to reach that point where you realize that other people are people, and you treat them with respect and love and care and kindness, regardless of what what they're perceived
Yeah.
to be, because they're
Ideally.
human. And then you don't necessarily have to hang out with them. You don't have to spend time with them. You don't have
Yes.
to it may not be your position to be the one to take them to that next, but you can plant seeds of goodness within them regardless of who they are.
But you
Right?
can't control
And
them.
that's what I'm trying to say when I say divide the gap.
I do
No,
understand.
you
I
don't
understand.
need to control them. You don't have to control them.
No, I'm saying that when you
Nobody
give
has to
somebody a
control
little bit,
somebody
they
else.
can take.
It's if you can add a positive, right? And that's when you're like, no, I'm not. But that's discernment, because that comes from experience. And when you go through that and you're like, this guy's a jacktard, I'm not going to give him my time of day. I'm not, because I know where this is headed.
And you could have
Based
either
on
lost a
his
beautiful
experience,
friendship and a meaningful experience, or you could have avoided a stalker.
Potentially.
Who knows?
Potentially, yeah. But you have to go with what you know, and that's it. And it's okay to be you. That's the whole point.
All right.
My
Hey,
message
Aaron?
is it's okay to be you.
Yeah.
All right, I'll shut up.
I'm actually ready to shut down. I mean, I think Aaron could probably go on a couple hours.
Yeah, and
sure.
it won't change.
I know.
Well, did you just do that? Oh, I was about to suggest that, but it looks like he.
I don't mean to be rude with people, but
he's a really nice guy.
Yes.
But you don't owe him a permanent spot on the panel if
I don't know. We are all figuring our paths out, but you know what? We're over 2 hours. Are you doing anything? You already scheduled for anything later?
I am not already scheduled. Yeah, I'll do something. I'll set something up for later.
So I believe Illumitami is already streaming.
He's been streaming for a minute now.
Rebuttal Bar's got, or London's got something going on. He's got over 1,000 people in his stream right now.
This late? What the fuck's going on?
He's got, I don't remember who it is. I think it's that, I don't know who the guy is. Abstract Angel Artist, something like that.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, but he's doing, before my stream started, he was about 300, 400 people viewing. And it was an interesting conversation, but I don't know.
Good for him. That's 1,000. That's way more than I've ever gotten.
Me too, man.
I think my top is 120 or something.
It was an interesting conversation, but what happened?
I always have hopes for more. I really do.
Is the more defined, or are you just sort of never?
Honestly, well, here's where it is. I'm doing these streams because I feel I have value. Now, I open the panel up to share the conversations because I know other people have value. But these open panels seem to attract people that just talk. Mm-hmm. They talk to hear themselves talk. And I'm not saying they're not offering value, but it's certainly not helping me with what I'm trying to do.
What would be ideal for someone to get on panel and stay there for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or what? And not stay on the whole stream.
Lindsay, that's a very fair question, and shame on me. I have complaints, but I don't have a clear solution. I mean, in my mind, admittedly, I thought it would be, I don't know, I thought things would be different, that I'd be able to arrange actual conversations and have limited panels, like 2, 3 people and we actually flush out real conversations and topics.
I would, I think that I would encourage you to feel free to do that. You know what I mean? Like, if it's more valuable to you, if you think it'd be more valuable to the audience, which I think it probably would, to go ahead and do the thing, you know, that feels mean, but is really not.
It's in your nature to be mean and a jerk. Just kidding. It's nature to be you can cut people off in a
Exactly.
very concise and reasonably polite way, or in a really rough, abrupt way. But that's not his personality type, right? His aim is to help people.
But you can't help people if somebody comes up and decides to make it all about them, right?
So I'm asking Jack, what do we do? Do you want us to get up 5 minutes and then go back down there to chat?
No. I actually think it is more on me. Maybe limiting and focusing the panel and maybe even rotating people through, but I haven't made any changes or real clear choices. But
you can't control how other people are going to react. It's like throwing a bunch of marbles and expecting them all to land in one place.
You're right.
And you're gonna have pissed off people. Obviously, if you open shit up for free to the world, somebody's gonna come in and absorb whatever there is there.
Tear down your sandcastle.
Yeah.
Remember that analogy?
Me or him?
You. Remember I was talking about tearing down.
Oh, I don't listen to you.
Oh, see, that's a great example of how he's able to do that succinctly and very, everything's steady. It's like, okay, I don't care.
I do listen to you. I just have a shit memory.
Well, that's because you're stoned all the time.
Well, way to put me on Front Street like that.
I'm just being sarcastic right the way back to you.
I don't know. Hey,
I don't know either.
I'm going to wrap it up. I want to thank you both sincerely.
Thanks for having me up. Have a good night.
No, I'm not done with you.
And
I'm not done with you, Jack.
I'm getting out of here.
I just want to say something. Give yourself a break. With all these variables, every single person that gets up on here, it's not going to go the way you want it to. And even if you made quite an impression on one person or two or three, you've won. It's a win-win situation. Anyone that you cannot reach or that said something that pissed you off, it doesn't matter. It's all part of you put any two people in the room and they're eventually going to fight or contradict, or someone's going to go, let's go look at this sunshine over here. And the other one's going to say, no, I want to go in the ocean. It's never going to fail. So just let it be, right? Just let it be. And now I'm going to shut up.
Blessing.
Okay,
bye. Thank you, my friend. Have a beautiful evening. And for all those who joined the panel, and Aaron, you especially, and not just you, Moose, and some of the others who seem to, I don't know. I know I don't offer as much kindness as I could. I do appreciate what everyone brings, and what Lindsay was offering is just what Aaron was offering too. Every one of us, we're doing the best we can. And if we can accept others for doing their best, for being who they are, accept ourselves for being who we are without the judgment. What I was trying to get across earlier, it's not so much the judgment, but we can discern within ourselves. And I think when we discern within ourselves, if we're honest, we can do more. We can be better. We can. I know I can. I know I'm always looking at ways I can improve, because I do. I don't want to offend people. I want people to join and to feel love. I want people to walk away from the streams glad that they hit play, glad that they click join the link, whatever. I want people to feel good about life, because life brings forth the opportunity to love every day. And each day brings like limited opportunities through the day, these moments. And each moment we get to choose. What do we want to feel? Do we want to feel alone and afraid and angry, insufficient, full of lack and problems? You can. Kind of to swing the conversation back to earlier, kind of presents a life in hell when there's very little good to be found, no beauty, no love, no light. That's the darkness of depression and the anger. I know those feelings well. I'm here to share some light, right? Some love. And brothers and sisters, I hope all of you who did join today feel good, feel a little more alive. And please do the subscribe thing, hit the notifications, because I anticipate we will be back again. And till then, thank you again. Please stay tuned. Oh, yeah, our brother Flow State going live soon. And I think Lumitami maybe already. Plenty of opportunities. Enjoy your Saturday night. Finding your own mental balance. Allow your heart to lead you. Till next time, thank you again. Choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. God bless.